Hi there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew, and as always it is fantastic to have you here with me again on another whiskey review video. Now in today's video I am going to be reviewing one of the latest releases from Starward. So Starward is an Australian distillery. They are located in Victoria. They are one of my favorite Australian distilleries. I have reviewed quite a lot of them in the past. So if you are interested in say discovering more Starward whiskies, then please go and check the playlist link in the description box down below, and yeah, you'll have full access to all of those previous reviews. But for this one, this is part of their small batch release. This is the Chardonnay Casks issue. This is part of their specialty barrel series, bottled at 48% ABV and limited to 960 bottles. Now, one of the things that's most interesting about this particular release is the fact that this is the first whiskey that they have released that has been aged exclusively in white wine casks. Now, if you're familiar with Starward, then you would already know that they typically only use red wine casks. So this has been aged in nothing but ex-Chardonnay casks that have been sourced from the Yarra Valley and Margaret River winemaking regions. These casks are a combination of fresh and charred Chardonnay barrels. Let's pour a little bit and see how we go. Alright, so the whiskey is poured. Let's see what we get on the nose. Cheers. So it's very vibrant, very fresh. The first kind of note that I get is vanilla and butter. Then that changes into just more fruits. So fresh green apple, apricot, peach. It has those really nice like summery stone fruits. So there's also a bit of a citrus note coming in. So think of like lemon flesh. It's also quite grassy as well. You will definitely notice like the malt profile in this. I'm still getting like notes of like milk chocolate, cereal grain, a little bit of eucalyptus, oranges, and there are some like really nice gentle herbal elements coming into it as well. Overall, the balance on the nose is absolutely fantastic. But let's move along to the palate and see what we get. So cheers. Beautiful mouthfeel. Quite soft, also syrupy, but then that intensity of the ABV does really start to prickle. So you do get like an initial sensation of a very like soft style, but then it does kind of amp up to a bit. It does. So mate, look, this is bottled at 48, but as that intensity starts to rise, it does start to feel a bit more like a maybe say 50, 52. So it does start to punch above its weight. Let's see if it starts to mellow out a little bit more on the second sip. Much more approachable, very much, and much friendlier as well. I think if this was like your first sip of whiskey for the night, you will get that intensity, but then once you take that initial edge off, then it's absolutely beautiful. Very juicy as well. It's almost like biting into an apple. You get that burst of fruit juice. Again, it's quite citric as well. That lemon, I'm kind of getting a bit of like a lemon lime vibe on it as well. Still a little bit orangey as well, so you do kind of get quite a broad range of a citrus profile. Again, that vanilla that I was picking out on the nose is there, but I'm kind of glad that the fruitiness is what kind of impacts you first. Then you start to get those kind of other spices coming in. So the like vanilla, I'm getting quite a bit of white pepper actually. So there is a possibility that some of these casks maybe French oak. I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, it doesn't specify on the bottle. but I am getting that that French oak vibe from it. So again, the milk chocolate is still there. Again, the apricot and peaches. It definitely follows. So the whole basic flavor profile from the nose definitely follows through on the palate as well. You do get this remarkable balance of flavor, and it is very, this is a absolutely delicious whiskey. It is definitely one that is just, it's a perfect sipping whiskey, especially now, I think, coming into the cooler winter months. This is something that you will definitely want to just unwind with, sit back, relax, maybe start like a little fire in the backyard and just chill out and just enjoy the moment. This is definitely one of those whiskeys, I think, that will kind of take you into that space. Moving along to the finish, again, much of the same profiles coming through. I don't really have much else to add, except with the exception that it's got a certain creaminess to it as well. So I mean, that could be that kind of buttery influence, but I am getting more of like a creamy influence that's coming back up, and that is just mingling in extremely well with those stone fruits. One thing, I don't know, this could be a bit of a controversial opinion, especially when it comes to the Australian whiskey industry. Now, a lot of our distilleries down here, they cop a lot of crap for using red wine casks. And I think that mostly just comes down to a lot of people just not being accustomed to the flavor that you get from, say, from typical red wine casks, especially things like Shiraz or Pinot Noir. Typically, most people are more used to say bourbon casks or sherry casks. Obviously, bourbon casks tend to be the favorite, and from what I've noticed of a lot of, for Australian whiskey consumers in general, they are wanting more of a bourbon cask influence rather than the red wine cask, which to a certain degree I personally find unfortunate, because I mean, we are living in a massive wine producing country, and our distilleries have access to some exceptional quality casks that will no longer be used by many of the wineries. So my opinion has always been, why not use what we have available instead of having to import products from overseas? Now, I don't know if this could just be my opinion, but being that this is the first Chardonnay cask matured whiskey that I have ever had, I could see this, at least from the profile that I'm getting from this particular whiskey, I could see the Chardonnay cask being the bourbon cask of Australia. And that is one thing that I would like to be able to discover more of. I'm going to have to try and find more distilleries that are using Chardonnay casks. I believe that there are a few others that have used Chardonnay casks before, so I'm going to have to suss those out and give them a try for myself. But judging from the overall flavor profile of this, it is very similar in style to a bourbon cask finish or bourbon cask maturation. And in fact, I would probably find that if many people were to try this whiskey, they would very easily get it confused with a Speyside style of Scotch. So yeah, I think that's something that we're going to have to explore further. And yeah, I really want to see what kind of influence more of these Chardonnay casks will have on the Australian whiskey scene, because like I said, just judging off this, I do believe that that could be our version of the bourbon cask, and I would love to see that happen. So distilleries, please experiment with more Chardonnay casks. I think that's the way to go. I think that will get a lot of people on board. So all right, that's that's enough of that. That's enough prattle. I've been talking long enough. I'll call it for the day. If you've been enjoying this content so far, then please make sure you hit the bell notification and the subscription button so that you can stay up to date with all future content. My name is Andrew, and I'll see you all again on the next video. KIPPIS. Well, now, since you've made it this far into the video, why not go ahead and check out some of these other reviews that I have done. I'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye.